Hello guys, how are you today? Today we're going to review this paper. It's titled Recent Progress on Bio-Inspired Antibacterial Surfaces for Biomedical Application. So what is the problem? The problem is surface bacterial attachment in medical devices. And should we use antibiotics? Well, there is this thing called antibiotic drug resistant, which means that the more antibiotics we use, it creates a worse problem because it now bacteria become resistant to these antibiotics. Okay, now can nature be a solution? Yes, nature has created amazing antibacterial surfaces that need no chemicals or nothing. It's just a surface. Now, is bacteria good or bad? Okay, give me a second. Let me see if I can find a laser right here. Nope. Okay, I couldn't find the laser, but that's fine. So for the introduction, is bacteria good or bad? Well, it turns out to be that some bacteria is pretty good, and actually we need it. We cannot live without it, and the world is full of it. Now, some bacteria help in digestion, such as they help in they help to make vitamins when we eat food. Um, they also help us absorb nutrients, and in return, they give us something else, such as, like we said, multivitamins or certain nutrients or proteins, and they usually live in our gut. Okay, and some of these are probiotics. This is a great example. When we eat yogurt, they usually contain probiotics, and those are just beneficial bacteria or good bacteria. Now, we also have some pathogens which are not good. CDC, the Center Disease for Control and Prevention, reports about, well, it tells that about 10 million deaths will happen by 2050 by different mechanisms, but usually in the medical sector. For example, here, uh, patients can get bacterial infections through the mouth, by implants. If you have an implant and bacteria starts to grow on that implant, on that surface, it's really tough to get rid of it because it will just keep growing. Think about it like a restroom. In the toilet, bacteria they create these films, and it's really tough to get rid of. All right, and here you have an example of something, a medical device that it's looks like it's growing some bacteria on it. Okay, now let's see how we have the or how do we deal with it. Well, in ancient times, we have used honey or herbs or moldy bread. And I'm going to explain why we use sweets such as honey. Bacteria cannot grow in honey because it's really sweet. It has a lot of sugar, and high concentrations of sugar are not can destroy bacteria because it's just too much sugar. They cannot live in that environment, right? Some different herbs contain different chemicals that can kill bacteria. Also, moldy bread. People used to put the Egyptians. They used to put a piece of moldy bread in wounds because that's where really penicillin, the antibiotic, came from this mold. Um, so it's called penicillin mold, and that's why people would. Well, they didn't know that that it contained antibiotic. They didn't know about bacteria. They didn't know that it existed, but they still did it, and turns out to be right. So that's where antibiotics came from certain fungi. Now, in modern times, we use antibiotics such as penicillin and other antibiotics that we have created over the years. And but the problem with this is that only 22 to 37% are effective in implants because, like we discussed earlier, we cannot get to the implants once they're inside the body. There's just no way to give you an antibiotic and the antibiotic to kill everything. It will kill. It's going to kill good and bad bacteria. We don't want the antibiotics to kill the bad bacteria. We just want the antibiotics to kill. Sorry, we don't want the antibiotics to kill the good bacteria. We want the antibiotics to kill the bad bacteria, but that doesn't always happen. Okay. Now, how nature deals with it? It turns out to be that nature is pretty clever, and the lotus leaf. This is a picture of a lotus leaf. It is it's called hydrophobic when all the water is just it gets repelled. Okay, as you can see right here. And this is a structure. This right here is a pathogen. It's a bacteria. It could be a bacteria and or dirt. So water is just repelled, and bacteria need water to survive. So if it needs water, but water cannot, it's not being, there's no way for water particles to live in the leaf, then the bacteria will not be able to attach, and because it needs water and it will just die, or it will be washed away when it rains, right? hmm Now, another really nice, clever way that nature has created surface, a type of surface that nature has created is Cisadea wings. This is a fly, and the fly contains right here, as you can see, contains really nice, kind of like sticks, but they're evenly spaced, the same length, the same space. But when bacteria attaches to it, what is going to happen is it will, but the surface of the bacteria will, as it sinks, as it comes down, the evenly spaced, the more sticks that the bacteria lands on will tear that apart, right? And it will stretch it, and it will break the cell wall, the bacterial cell wall, and it will die. The bacteria will die. Another really nice I found this really interesting is a dragonfly wings. They have a lot of different shapes. Unlike the other one, these are evenly the same length, evenly spaced the same length. But right here in the dragonfly wings, they have different sizes and different shapes, and they're really thin. They have like thin um, sticks. As you can see right here, it can penetrate the bacteria and then just kill it. I mean, it's like spikes. You have a lot of spikes. To imagine bacteria landing on spikes. You can see right here, there's probably some dead bacteria right here. Um, that's pretty clever way to do it. Okay, and dragonfly wings. Who would have imagined, right? Also, we have shark skin. It is a really antibacterial surface, really nice, because also water cannot. You probably didn't know this. I didn't know this, but shark skin is really rough, as you can see right here. So one, bacteria will not be able to move around this because it's just really rough. And second, it is also like, remember the lotus effect? Well, turns out to be that sharks, sorry for that. Mm, oh goodness. It turns out to be that shark is also anti-water, or it's called hydrophobic, it water fearing. So water is not going to get attached to this material. Okay, and that's the reason why bacteria cannot grow in it, because it just doesn't have any water. It'll just be washed away. So this is all I have for today, just to explore some cool surfaces that nature has created to avoid bacteria. Not like us, that we use chemical very we use very complex chemicals and a lot of sprays and a bunch of different chemicals, rough chemicals that are toxic for us to kill bacteria and other insects. Nature does it in a really beautiful manner. Thank you.